Hi guys, welcome to Extra Talk. Today we have a couple of interesting points to discuss. We have a new guest as well, so we're all ready and fired up. Everybody knows Tomasz, of course. Tomasz, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hope you're all fine as well. Hi.
Hi, Tomasz. And of course, our new guest, Ravish. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the channel, Ravish. So you're a new guest. You know what time it is. Every new guest has to basically tell us how he became an Ajax fan. Tell us more about you. Where do you live? How did you fall in love with Ajax? And just give us a little bit insight.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Juan, for having me in the show. My name is Ravish. I'm 34 years old. Will become 35 on April 16th. Amsterdam, actually not so far from the old Ajax stadium, the Meer. As a little guy, I became a big fan of Ajax. My whole neighborhood, everyone was fan of the club. My neighbors, they were all red, white, and everything was Ajax. When we were playing outside and the wind was well, you can hear the shouting and the cheering over coming from the Meer. And yeah, that was the point that I got infected with the Ajax virus. I have two little brothers. They are also a fan of Ajax. But I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest one. I have a season ticket for now 15 years. And everything for me, Ajax is so important. I'm married, so my wife knows who she got married with. That was one that she also changed some things in her life. She also postponed our marriage because of matches of Ajax and the Dutch national team. So she's kind of, sometimes you get really annoyed when I'm watching the game and I'm yelling at the screen. And she's always happy when I'm in the stadium because then I can't irritate her. So like I said, 15 years already, season ticket. Ajax is the most important part of my life next to my wife. And that's it a little.
It's amazing. Interesting also maybe for Tomasz because he's about to take a plunge as well. So Tomasz, maybe you can get some tips from Ravish going forward, how it is.
Yeah, we'll get in touch later on. However, my girls already she knows what to do and what's what. Yeah, so
Good.
I'll be fine.
Perfect.
I was born and raised not so far from the old stadium, and after I got married, I found an apartment not so far from the arena. So for me, 10 minutes drive from my home to the stadium. So it's always a good moment when I'm passing the stadium.
Basically, wherever Ajax goes, you go. And you take everyone with you.
Definitely.
All right. Look, guys, we have a couple of things to discuss. Most recent events. We're going to touch upon that. The most important thing, actually, we have to touch upon right now, and we have to mention this, is the recent form of our squad. So let's start with that first. And I will start with you, Ravish, of course. You told me you were in the stadium. You watched the RKC game. Tell me a little bit about that game, what you saw, and also what's going on recently. Because, look, a little bit of background before you react, also for the viewers. Of course, this is not the first time we're losing points. We lost points in the first half of the season. But to me, there's a big difference. We lost points, but we kept a clean sheet. We were not able to, break through. Now we see that with Go Ahead Eagles and RKC, we're vulnerable at the back, something that hasn't happened before. So it's not enough anymore to score one and knowing we have a clean sheet. No, we can be basically counterattacked and we can concede goals now. So what's happening according to you? What's your view on this?
Yesterday in the stadium, we all had the feeling when the match started, it would be those kind of days when Ajax will lose points. The team was surprised by the fact that RKC really tried to attack. I think the first big chance was the header of Kramer, but I thought also before that they had one shot on goal. So thankfully Onana kept that header out. It was an amazing save, to be honest. And then you see that Ajax was vulnerable with the fact that Mazraoui didn't play, Timber didn't play, and of course you need to support all your players. But with Schuurs in the team, there's something happening with him in the squad, and everyone saw it. You saw it with the 2-1. Suddenly he was away. Alvarez needed to follow Kramer, and Kramer finished it really nice. And then the second at the equalizer, you saw when I was at home, I was watching the play again. You saw he is looking at the right. Then you were thinking he would go diagonal, go with the free man, but he went after the striker, and then it became 2-2. The problem is, I think that Ajax isn't as good as we think with their squad. If you see what's on the bench, there aren't players at the moment that which you can say, hey, they can make a difference when you bring them in. The only player you can say he's always working hard is Klaassen. But yeah, Rens and Schuurs, they don't have the form at the moment, and I don't know what it is. I think, of course, the fact that they aren't playing so much games, that could also be a big role. But if you're seeing also against because the fun part is against AZ, he played a really good match. Schuurs, he played a really good match, because when I saw the team squad for AZ, I was really afraid of, oh damn, Schuurs is playing again. But in that match, I didn't see any striker of AZ. So talking about RKC, which is a much lower level than AZ, you would think it won't be a piece of cake for him. But I don't know what's going on with him.
All right. So basically, look, just in summary, right? You're highlighting Schuurs, but basically you're saying also that once the primary players like Timber or Mazraoui that have been playing for most of the season, if they fall away, we have an issue at the back. We're much more vulnerable.
Because you don't have the automatism anymore. With Timber, if you make him a central defender, if you play him a back, he plays like he's always playing at that position. It's his second. But the moment that he left, you saw that Martinez needs to do more, as Schuurs doesn't know how to take his position in. Playing against Kramer, the header I just mentioned, if he took a step to the left, came in front of him, Kramer didn't have the chance to put the header on goal. And I think that misses the last point of development to become a killer. And I think that Ajax needs to go for a new defender in the summer, because I think Schuurs doesn't has the level that's needed for playing at Ajax.
Wow. All right. Tomasz, I'm going to give the floor to you now to react on what's going on with Ajax recently. So the go-ahead game, AZ went well, like Ravish also said. But RKC was like wobbly a little bit, and we pulled through, but it was close.
Yeah, I believe that pointing out the Schuurs situation is all fair. However, I would point out one more thing, because for some reason we had two center backs, and in the second half we played like very high. We kept attacking and so on, and for whatever reason, Schuurs was the last defender, not Lisandro, who is way faster and so on. And Schuurs was left there alone and very vulnerable for sprint challenges. This was really stupid for me. It was like made as much sense as putting your fingers into an electric socket. What would happen? You know what would happen? Bad things. So that was one thing. The other one is, Ravish talked about the defenders missing. Yeah, it's fair. We didn't have the automatism at the back. However, this is not enough of an explanation for us not to be 4 or 5 goals ahead before the halftime, or I don't know, the 60 minutes mark. There's something more wrong there. I'm not able to tell you what exactly, because there's never an explanation for this, because it happens every season. It happened in 1919 and every other season after that. So I don't know, it has to be something that's outside our eyes, something that's not visible for us. I don't know, a mental thing or whatever. And also, I'm not blaming Onana. This is possibly a coincidence. He didn't concede a bad goal from him. It wasn't his fault. However, 4 goals conceded in 2 games with Onana in goal. Yeah, some say it's coincidence. Some say it's bad karma. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ravish. Go.
I think Tomasz already mentioned this. I think it's mentality. It's also the way you started the matches. When you saw the matches at the beginning of the season, they had a drive. We were all were watching the oohs, the ahs. Ajax played with so high tempo that every opponent who came to the stadium already knew after 2 minutes we won't gonna get a result here. What you see nowadays, and that's also it's a problem that has already been there for years, is the moment that opponents were making a fight match of it, then Ajax always the bad team. What I mean with that is, like, Go Ahead Eagles know if they're gonna play football against Ajax, they will lose the game. So what they will do, they're gonna use their strength, they're gonna use their mentality. To be honest, the way Daley Blind got embarrassed by the left winger of Go Ahead Eagles, or the right winger, sorry, with his qualities, it can't be that he played like that. So that's something, it's your mindset. So what you need to do as Ajax, as a team, make them come for the first 30, 40 minutes. Because, after that, they won't be able to play like they started. They will become tired, and then Ajax has the qualities to kill the match. Against Benfica, the same. In the second half, Benfica used their strength. Benfica were really annoying, and Ajax tried to be annoying as well. And then you see that they don't have the power to make the ball roll like they did in the first 20, 25 minutes, and where they had the match under control. And that's something that Ajax has for years. Every time with small opponents, they always think we can do it. And now with this squad, you see it happening so much that they think we can do it on 40, 50%. And the moment they realize, oh shit, we need 100%, they aren't able to get to that level, and they lose points.
Let me throw something. Can I say something? Let me throw something on top of everything you guys are saying, and please react on that as well. Look, you already touched upon it a little bit, Ravish. You said one of the things that also is possible is that the players, they're not being rotated enough. And you were more referring to the bench players. You know that when they come in, if it's Schuurs or Ranch, they don't deliver the same quality as the first 11. Let me turn it around for a bit. We know this season, and this is something typical of Ten Hag, it has been also discussed a couple of times already on this channel. We know that Ten Hag is not somebody who likes to rotate a lot. But if we switch it around and you look at the first 11 players, those 11 players, most of them, they're already touching 30 games already, and we're in March. So by the time, if they stay fit, knock on wood, if they stay fit, they will reach 40 games, 40 plus games towards the end of the game. Are we not squeezing these players? Are we not squeezing the very last drop of these players? And this also creates exhaustion, not only physically, but also mentally. Because, perfect example, Timber. Timber already had complaints in December. Of course, it was just at the end of December, so we went into a break. Then he started over, but now you see it's his first full season. He's been playing almost everything. And now Ten Hag has to sometimes let him play, like he had to play him against AZ. It was too important, but he left him out against RKC. And now we have Cambuur. No Martinez. Martinez is suspended. Yeah, but we know that Timber is like on his peak, on his max in terms of his physicalness, his physical attribute, what he's capable of doing during the season. He doesn't have, his body is not used to that yet. And if we play him and something happens to him, we don't have him for Benfica next week. So again, going back to everything you guys said, don't you think also that we're pushing these players too much? They have to be rested more.
Is it only Ajax?
I'm sorry?
A problem with Ajax. You see it with the whole football calendar. The players playing so many matches. You see it when there is a big tournament like the World Cup or the European Championship. You don't see the teams at their best anymore because all players are really sorry for the word, fucked up before they start the whole tournament. Mm-hmm. We're going to Qatar. We're going to play in the winter. We have players that already have, like you said, 30, 40 matches. They have maybe 3 vacation. That's not enough to recover from a full season.
But Ravish, one moment. You're actually, I totally agree with you, but you're actually throwing more ammunition that the coach, that actually you should be more concerned about their resting throughout the season, because the international games are not going to do that. You know?
No, true.
Yeah.
Totally. But if you look at the, you're totally right, because in the stadium we're always watching and talking about the fact that Ten Hag is always, makes his substitutes so late in the match. So yesterday the same. He brought Klaassen, he brought Kudus, and we were waiting before Danilo would come. Thank God he didn't came. Right? He did.
No,
He didn't.
No.
Came in, but he's always waiting. Frank de Boer had the same in his period, always waiting for last
70th minute, always 70th minute.
Oh. But I also think that Ten Hag knows that the qualities on the bench aren't as good as what the primary players are having right now. That's why.
Honestly, I put it on Twitter yesterday. I totally disagree. I don't agree. I honestly don't agree with that narrative that the players on the bench are not good enough. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we said we have even a better squad than the 18-19. If you look at the bench players that we have, now all of a sudden, after 6-7 months, we're saying no, only the first 11 are good players. That's not possible. It's not possible.
No. That's true. But I think if you're talking about, let's say, the attackers, because Brobbey is out. And that's such a shame, because he showed why he came back.
Yeah.
But Darami doesn't have the level yet. Danilo, not an Ajax striker. So that's why I would say if we need to if Ten Hag wants to substitute more attacking, you don't have the players for that. The midfield, I think the midfield, you have good replacements. You have Klaassen, you have Kudus, you have now also what's his name again? He scored against Heracles. The Dutch guy. Help me, Juan.
Taylor.
Yeah, Kenneth Taylor. So the midfield is covered. The back, we don't have good replacements. The keeper, you already seen the problem. If Onana, who was with his foot in something, everyone was in panic, because otherwise we had to start with Razzi or with the other guy. So that's why I think only for the midfield we're covered. The moment Brobbey is back, I think we're good. But for next season, we need a new defender, for sure. We need to replace Schuurs. And yeah, I think at the moment everyone is talking that Ajax has a good squad, but I'm not so sure that it is the truth.
Okay, I'm going to give it to Tomasz, because I'm the host, of course, and I have a very strong opinion about this, but I want Tomasz's opinion as well, of course.
Okay, so first of all, yeah, it is not a unique thing for Ajax. Many clubs have the same issue. I follow Real Madrid as well, and you don't want to even imagine what the fan base is saying about Ancelotti and his way of rotating players and his subs. So we all know that Ten Hag does not rotate too much. So that means that that's his policy or the way he manages the team. So don't you think he prepares the team to work like that during the whole season? So the preparations, the preseason is meant to prepare those guys to do this. Yeah, I wouldn't ignore that. That might be the case here. So this is something that happens again and again. I'm no physio. I'm no expert on this. I sure am unhappy that we get so little of Kudus, for example. He's an exciting player to see. However, yeah, I try to stay humble and believe that there is a good reason behind that. And also, we touched upon the mental thing before. Just one more thing to add to this. I'm really, really disappointed that the go-ahead Eagles game was not a wake-up call. It should have been. It should have been a wake-up call. Everybody in the club should be really pissed about that performance and the result, obviously. And for some reason, yeah, Tadic said some words, and apparently it worked out against AZ. But it always works against AZ in the cup away. Yeah, so we know the story. And yet again, we have the RKC game. That was, yeah, if you knew Polish and watched me watching the game, yeah, it was a nasty spectacle. So, yeah, I'm unhappy about this thing. And the mental department, I guess, this is something we we should like focus more on, and this is something we should criticize Ten Hag for, because whatever we say that it's the player's attitude, but the manager is the person responsible for that. Yeah, this is it, I guess. This is the biggest issue, if you ask me. But again, we're a little bit like children in crowds, seeing not everything, and this is very difficult always with such debates. I don't mean that they make no sense, because it's always fun to take part and to watch it or listen to it. Yeah, but we have to be humble. Yeah, we don't know everything. We have to take that into account.
I totally agree. We have to be humble, and I'm not diminishing anything of Ten Hag, because Ten Hag has been amazing, and the way he makes the team play has been amazing for years. He's winning prizes. He's winning. I mean, we're basically in pole position to win the league again. We can qualify for the quarterfinals. We're in the final of the cup. I mean, everything is amazing. But Tomasz, you cannot. How do you say that? You cannot ignore the fact that, look, in the 18-19 season, let's be honest, we were lucky that the team, most of the team, the 11 players, we didn't have a lot of injuries back then. So it remained a little bit intact. This of course, is good. Same goes for this season. If these players were not injured, so Timber, Mazraoui, they were fit, I think we wouldn't have any problems. So I would go with that explanation. But the backside of the way that the Ten Hag works is now visible. Because if one or two players or three players are not of the squad, of the first 11, are not there, there is an immediate drop in quality, or at least the team looks like they're playing for the first time together.
Well, every team you get rid of three key players, they look worse. That's the way the world works. Yes, it does.
No. It shouldn't be the case like that. It shouldn't be like that. Listen. You look at Real Madrid. I look sometimes at the Premier League. Do you think any team in the Premier League doesn't rotate throughout the season?
No, I'm not saying that. I agree with you that the drop of quality, yeah, it was too big. Yeah, it was unacceptable. However, it always distracts the team. It always, especially with the way we manage the team, it always is an obstacle. And yeah, it just works like that. I'm not saying that everything's perfect. Quite the opposite. I would love to see more Kudus, for example, and especially with some of our midfielders not being too consistent, to say the least. Yeah, Berghuis is having a very good season, but he's not consistent at all. It's always like 2 good games and 1 terrible one. Gravenberch, yeah, he's not a fan favorite this year, to say the least, and there's every reason to do this. So yeah. Kudus should play way more, for example, and there are more players that could be said things like that about. But yeah, this is the way that's in Ten Hag's mind that gives us the biggest chance to succeed. And yeah, well, the results, the history defends this approach. Maybe it is a little bit lucky, but maybe there's no other way. I don't know.
Okay, look, I'm gonna add even more to this talk, but before I do, I want the viewers also to react on this discussion and let us know where they stand. You know, what they think about what's going on. Why are we being like playing like this recently and not as stable as we were before? What are the reasons for this? Look, another thing I want to touch upon. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all three wearing Ajax shirts or jerseys. Ajax also stands for youth players. And I'm going to touch upon something very, very delicate, but it's important. Which youth player this season had a breakthrough so far?
It's going to stay like that, quiet.
No, but seriously. You know where I'm going with this, right? I mean, you can argue and say, look, it's a bit of a crazy question to ask because we have so many players, we have so many depth in the squad. But we are used to every year having at least one player, you know, at least showing and coming and playing more minutes. Which player has had more minutes? And don't give me Taylor, please, because that's not even. I mean, I think he had last year more minutes than this year. I'm not sure, but it seems that way. We have players that are waiting to get their chances, and they're not getting their chances. I mean, somebody like Rensch, for instance. Look at how Rensch was last year. Look how he's playing the last couple of games. Totally different player. No confidence whatsoever. You know, so yeah. I'm being very critical. I know I'm not against Ajax, just to be clear. I'm wearing the jersey, but I have to be critical when I see things that I think, it doesn't fit how it's supposed to be. And you cannot tell me you don't have good youth players. That's not true.
No, I agree. I think we have good youth players, but you're talking about Ranch.
Or
Ranch has,
Unifor, who had an amazing first half year at Young Ajax. Did you see him? I didn't see him.
Oh, true. But before I go to Unifor, if you're talking about Ranch, the problem Ranch has is that Mazraoui is, when fit, you don't have. He's the best player you have at the moment, because the way Mazraoui developed this season, leaving his injury schedule out of this, Mazraoui and Anthony were an amazing tandem. So I can imagine.
Ravish, hold on. I totally agree with you. But let's look at last year. Mazraoui was injured for most of the season. Who took his place? Who took his spot? I think we won the league and we won the cup with Rensch, right? I agree with you that if you look at Mazraoui, the level that he can reach compared to Rensch, it's higher. I totally agree with that. But why does it have to be black and white? Why does it have to be only Mazraoui and no more Rensch this season?
But you could also say that Ten Hag saw, maybe, look, in the past we were able to go to trainings, visit, and see how players were developing. It could be Rensch is a young guy, and he came like a comet. He came really fast, and now he has ups and downs. It's normal age. So I think that's the problem. You also need to realize that the level that Ajax won, that the head team is playing, is really high at the moment. So I think Ten Hag really has a view on what's happening in the youth, but he sees also that some players need some more development. Maybe Univar needs some more physical development, and Rensch has his ups and downs. So I think that's the reason that we don't see, as this season, so many youth players.
Okay. Let me go to the next subject, because this is a perfect bridge.
Can I add something?
Go ahead, Tomasz.
Yeah. So first of all, Rensch should play more, considering he can play not only right back, especially considering Blind's form. That's one thing.
We have Tagliafico, who's not playing this season a lot.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, but I see no reason why wouldn't Rensch play centre back from time to time, or Rensch in the centre back, and we could try Timber, as Edson replacement, because I believe, Timber could have his future as a holding midfielder. He's everything to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's that. But other than that, well, it sometimes just happens. I mean, we have a very big quality in our squad, and playing youngsters just for the sake of playing them, we have our ambitions so high that it can't be a schedule for us, a plan. I know this is something that contradicts the club's philosophy a bit, that we did not play the youngsters so much. I don't know. Maybe it's just like that. That there's just not so much that good talent right now. Univar, who'd he replace? Tadic is unbenchable, obviously. Berghaus gives no reason to be benched either. So it's difficult, because those are such top quality players. And I'd rather see Univar play in young Ajax than stay on the bench all the time with the first team. Playing in young Ajax will develop him more.
Yeah. Can I say one thing about we have top quality players? And then Ravish, I will let you answer this as well. In 94-95, I was little, so if my memory serves me well, we had an amazing squad. I remember Van Gaal was switching it up all the time. We had Woter coming in. We had all these players coming in. Musampa coming in. Kanu was on the bench coming in. We had so many good players. It's always has been the DNA of Ajax. So I'm being very critical on this because I think no matter how good your players are in the squad, and I agree that the level of Ajax is higher than, let's say, 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I totally agree on this. But still, the manager has to make sure that we close the gap and that the youth players, not all of them, I'm not saying all the youth players have to get a chance, but we have some very good players. Let's be honest. You know, what's happening right now is basically that we will never find out if they're good enough. Youth players, they have to develop. They're not a finished product. That's something that we forget sometimes. But if they don't get the chance in the first team, in which the level is higher, then we will never know if they're good enough, yes or no. Right or not?
True.
I mean, honestly.
True, obviously. Yeah. Well, the point is we have to stop buying Kleibers. I know Kleiber is not a problem this season, and I feel sorry for him. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, you know, we should. I believe that it's true that our bench should consist of more players like that, but yeah, it's, you know, it's a lotto. You know, you cannot architecture a gene pool. It just sometimes happens that the players are good enough and sometimes not. We might be at a very bad or not good enough moment now.
I know I have to be careful because you're very fond of Ten Hag, and I don't want to criticize Ten Hag. So I'm sorry, Thomas. Please forgive me. So I will, okay.
I will consider it.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you because you wanted to react. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I totally understand the story about youth players, and we don't see them too many. But let's be honest. The fact if we won from Benfica, if we won from Go Ahead Eagles, if we played RKC with 5-0, nobody would ever talk about the youth players, because the same squad that played yesterday could also played in the beginning of the season. They won with 5-0, 9-0, you name it. So I think it's also a little development. And of course, we can be really criticizing Ten Hag about this rotation, but if we were had a lead of 40 points ahead of PSV, nobody was talking about the youth players. Okay. Then maybe Ten Hag would say, okay, we had such a big lead on the number 2. I can rotate. I will play with some youth players. But the reality is right now I don't think we don't have a really good one at the moment. But you might never know. Maybe in the summer when they are going they're going to Portugal or wherever they go, there might come a new player that we think, hey, he's good.
They probably go to Austria again in the summer, and Portugal is in the winter break. But look, I just want to say one thing. Can I go, Tomasz?
Yeah, go on.
Look, yes, I agree. I mean, if you are very successful throughout the season, there will be no critical noises from the fans. But again, let's be honest, guys. We're wearing the Ajax badge, and the Ajax badge stands for something. It's not only good enough to become champions. We know that. You have to also play beautiful football. That's part of it. And the third thing is youth development. There has to be something in that season that shows that there's progression in the youth towards the first team. It can be one player. It can be 2 players. It can be that, but you're seeing a new face. You're seeing something new. Again, I'm missing that this season. Apart from how we're playing and all these kind of things. And I know, again, I'm coming back to the old situation. I know we have a lot of players, but there was a situation, I think it was in December or something, that we had many players that were absent, and we were about to play a team. I forgot which team it was. And Ten Hag chooses to have less players on the bench than taking more players from young Ajax to that game. And for me, that's strange. And if I may now, because I want to switch to the next topic, which perfectly aligns with what I'm trying to, say. We have a Polish Ajax fan here, so he can help me. I will give you the courtesy to pronounce the goalkeeper's name that we are about to sign until the end of the season.
Yeah, so Przemysław Titon, yes.
All right. Okay, I will just say Titon then. So listen, This is a perfect example, and you can argue for it or against it. Again, I want the viewers to react on this. I'm being very hostile as a host today. Sorry, but
love it.
Titon. We signed Titon. He hasn't been playing for 2 months. He's 35. He has international experience. I think Tomasz can mention much more than I can. So I'm not saying it's a bad signing. So let me just put this first. It's not a bad signing. I understand that. But it's very typical Ten Hag. Ten Hag would rather go for an experienced goalkeeper, yes, that actually has no contract, no club, 2 months, no training, nothing, yes, then just give a chance to Sethford. Yes? Whether you agree whether Sethford is ready, yes or no, it is the Ajax way. And that's my point. Because, let me go ahead. Let's say something happens to Onana, knock on wood, against Cambuur. Next week, Benfica. Yeah? You have to choose between Sethford and Titon. If Titon plays and he makes a mistake, the Ajax crowd will not accept it. If Sethford makes a mistake, of course they will not be happy about that, but they will understand this more than Titon. Come on, Ravish, come on. Okay, argue against it. Tell me why. Yes.
Scherpe played against AS Roma, and I believe he also played in a competition, I thought, or one of the cup matches.
Utrecht.
The thing,
We conceded a lot of goals there, yeah.
5-4, exactly. The thing is, I don't mind to use Ajax youth goalie, a Razzi or a Sethford. I totally agree with you. That's the Ajax way. But at this moment, during the season, where we can qualify for the quarterfinal, where we are in still 2 points ahead on PSV for the league, I also would look for a more experienced keeper as a backup for Onana, because the pressure for that Sethford would be so high to perform that you might lose the season through 1 or 2 mistakes you make, and then
But look, that's the thing I'm trying to say. That's the thing. No, but listen, that's the thing I'm trying to say. I don't want the mistake to happen, and you can argue that a young kid, like you said, the pressure might be too much for him. But isn't that what our academy stands for? To make them ready for these occasions? Honestly, Sethford knows the Ajax game better than Titon does.
But what's more important at the moment, Juan? Getting $60 million of Champions League, or become third or second or third and play in the Euro League or the Conference League?
We're talking about Ajax way or not Ajax way, but I think that we're missing something. I believe that Sethford, for 1 or 2 games, might actually be even better than Titon, to be honest.
Why do you think that? Because Ravish doesn't agree, but I want to know why you think that.
Yeah, I know he does it. I got that, and that's fine to disagree. However, like you've told us, Juan, Titon is a guy who is out of match rhythm. He's a guy who, he has no chemistry with our defenders. He would have to get to know them, and so on. And taking that into consideration, I don't think there would be much of an advantage between the two in favor of Titon, especially considering that Horter seems to be, soon to be available. So what's the point here? I respect Titon. He's a former Polish international. He played during the Euro 2012 competition. He saved a penalty there, even. He played for PSV as well. So no, it's a disgrace to have something like this in your CV. However, it says something about his level and so on. So I don't know. He played in MLS and in the worst team of that league, actually. However, he's a decent specialist. But would he be that much of a better player than Sethford right now? I'm not that sure. And provided that Horter should be back soon, yeah, I don't see too many reasons to sign Przemysław. However, I get that Ten Hag might want to have another goalie during the training sessions. That's been talked upon as well, and that makes some sense. But still, why would you deny the youngsters the opportunity to train with Tadic and company in that regards? So I'm against this transfer, not like terribly. I'm not like furious about it, and I'm not saying it's wasting money or whatever. But I wouldn't do that. Simple
On the
as that.
record, I'm not the same as you. I'm not like totally against it. I'm just questioning it, basically. That's my opinion. And also, I already laid out the arguments for that. Ravish, do you want to have a final say on this?
If I would say one final thing about the situation, if we were in a different part of the season, I would say go for Sethford, Razzi, or whatever. But for now, when we're in a delicate period of the season, I can understand why Ten Hag wants to have a more experienced goalkeeper. And of course, it's not a guarantee that you will qualify also for the quarterfinals, but I can imagine why he wants to do that. And that's what I want to say.
Okay, let's move on to another transfer rumor talk, which was very, talked about before the AZ game, but also after the AZ game. It's about Owen Wijndal. He's been linked with Ajax for some time now, even last year. We know all about him. He's also an international player for the Dutch squad. He's a good left back, let's be honest. He's a good one. I want to know from you your opinion about Wijndal in the summer. We know Tagliafico is leaving. Do you guys feel like he should be the number one target of Ajax? Ravish is shaking the camera, so excited. So you go first. Say why you think we should go for Owen Wijndal, and then Tomasz, you can react as well.
He's an Ajax player. He has technique. He has bravura. I think he's a really good replacement for Tagliafico. Johan Derksen said it last week, I believe, in one of the shows of VI. He said if he is your top priority candidate, go for it right now, because otherwise, when he will play at the World Cup, he might get a lot more expensive. But for me, even though he said I'm not interested in Ajax and all these kind of BS, we all know that he wants to come to Ajax. And for me, he's the best replacement for Tagliafico.
Yeah, just for our fans who are not Dutch, Johan Derksen is a TV personality on TV. No, that's fine. Tomasz, your view on Owen Wijndal?
Okay, so should he be our number one transfer target in the summer?
For the left back position.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's an important.
Yeah, that's important, of course.
Yeah, because I don't know if he should be our number one transfer target at all, like altogether, because it all depends on who do we sell and so on. However, Wijndal seems like an obvious target. Young, technical, Dutch international, best left back in the league. Yeah, he's used to having red on his jersey, so it's all good. So what can possibly go wrong? Well, one thing can go wrong, as it might be stubborn and want to sell him abroad.
Exactly.
And that would be very reasonable from them. So I guess we should go all in for him. However, not for too long. And also, there's one more thing, because I'm just worried that this transfer would mean that Lisandro would get benched, because Blind would have to go back to centre back, because we know he has to play. And we've been through this already. Yes, we've been through this already.
There is no way Martinez gets benched.
No way. Exactly. No way.
No way.
I would love to share your optimism, and I would hate to see it. I can't rule it out, though.
I cannot see that happening, to be honest. But okay, let me ask you another question, both of you, about Wijndal. So we know Tagliafico is leaving. Maybe Ajax will, try and go for him. What should be our maximum? How much should we prepare to pay for him, to sign him? So what would you be comfortable with? Let me put it this way. Tomasz, you.
Wow, that's a tough question. It all also depends on how much we get from the transfer market, because it's like the Milik case. Napoli sold Higuain to Juventus for like 90 million or whatever. and Ajax was in position to get over 30 million for Milik, which was absurd money for that time, if you ask me.
Yeah, but now we're the
so-
buying party. But now we're the buying party, and we know how
Yeah.
AZ thinks about Ajax. So that's why I'm asking this question as well.
Yeah, but I want to emphasize that it all depends on how much we earn from the market,
Of
yeah,
course.
and how much we will be able to invest. It's a tough question. I guess he shouldn't be our most expensive transfer ever. But considering he's the captain of AZ and it would hurt their butt a bit, I would be fine with, like, I don't know, 15 million. It would be fine with me because he seems like a 100% certain transfer that it would work out.
Honestly, I don't think we can sign him for 15. That's my opinion. Ravish, what do you think?
I think first of all that Max Huibers will jump off the AZ stadium if Wijndal wants to go to Ajax. That's because Huibers doesn't want to sell to Ajax, but in the best interest of the player, if he wants to go to Amsterdam, then you don't have a choice as a club. I think 15 million will be maximum because he's also, it depends of how long his contract is in Alkmaar. I don't know how long that is, maybe 1-2 years.
I think so. I'm not sure, to be honest, about that.
So you
Tomasz is
need to
going to
look
look it up for us right away. Tomasz is going to look it
Yeah.
up.
I think, but I think if you don't have a too long contract, then 50 million is, I think, is a good marketplace for market price for Wijndal.
2023. So yeah, so that's a good thing.
1 year.
2023. Yeah.
1 year contract left.
Yeah.
Yeah, then 50 million is a good amount for.
Okay, that's possible. Yeah, that's possible. Actually, they should sign him. They should sell him. I mean.
Yeah, if they want to, because he said, I think last week, that they were talking, that he's talking with the club, but they didn't have a accord yet. I don't know who is his agent. I don't
Raiola.
think it's Raiola.
It is Raiola.
Yeah, but now things will
Maybe
change in
on second thought, scrap everything we discussed. We're not signing him.
No. Listen, but things will change now because Overmars left the club. Jordi Cruijff has, let's say Jordi Cruijff will become the new technical director.
Yes.
Cruijff and Raiola had a good relationship with each other.
It doesn't mean anything to Raiola, man. It doesn't matter. He's been good with everyone, everywhere. At the end of the day,
Not with Ajax. Not with.
Okay, but listen. At the end of the day, he cares about his pocket. That's it.
Of course. But listen, all the players that were playing for Ajax were where he was the agent, they all left because he and Overmars didn't go well.
Yeah, because Overmars doesn't want to be bullied by an agent, and I understand that.
Exactly.
He shouldn't be bullied by an agent.
Exactly. No, true. But I think with Cruijff, who understands his way of working, I think there will be a new relationship.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, go ahead.
I hate to say this, and please, I don't mean to be mean, but that's a bit naive. It's like saying that, you know, you can trust Jabba the Hutt because you change the person who sends messages to him. No way. I believe a new technical director or whoever will make Raiola work differently with Ajax. No.
Okay.
That's fairy tales for me.
All right. I mean, it's not a bad take. It's possible, but I seriously doubt it, to be honest, knowing Raiola for a long time. Look, I want to touch upon something else. We're not going to talk about the technical directors. Maybe we'll do that later in a different extra talk. I want to talk actually about Erik Ten Hag. He's been actually talked about throughout the whole season. He's been pulled a lot and linked to Manchester United most of the time. Even recently, they got smacked by City, as we know. So, look, my question to you is, we know he has a 1-year contract after this season, right? The question I want to ask you, do you guys think he will stay with Ajax for next season, or do you think this might be the last season? And if you do, can you also explain why you think like that? Tomasz, I will give it to you first.
Well, I think, well, first of all, the talks about him leaving, you know, it's 3 years already, all the time. So that's no news. But all in all, I believe, he will. I guess he will go. I believe he will go. because I don't think there's much more he can achieve here. What more can he prove at Ajax? But then again, it's something that we could have said a season ago or 2 seasons ago as well. So I'm not 100% sure about that. But I have, something in my gut tells me that this is going to be it, and I just hope he ends his reign with a bang. Yeah. So
did your opinion sway a little bit, or got maybe reinforced by the fact that Overmars left?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is a factor at all. I mean, there's no club's wrongdoing in here. It had to happen, and I never got the impression that Overmars is the only thing that keeps Ten Hag with us. Not at all. So maybe it would play a little role, but I wouldn't overestimate it.
Okay. Ravish, your take?
I think he should go. I think this season will be his last season, and he has now the momentum to go to a bigger club. What he achieved with Ajax in the last years was amazing. If he wins the title, he wins the cup again. I think he won everything that you can win here in the Netherlands. The Champions League, it would be a miracle. But it would be an amazing miracle if he would fix that. But after this season, I think he needs to go, because the squad, he did everything with the squad. I don't think he can make this squad even better. I think it's good after 4 or 5 years, I believe. 4 or 5 years, he's now a head coach. To see how other clubs are doing it. And I think he should go to Manchester United if they are really interested in him. But only when he has someone with him that knows the club, that can help him develop as a good manager over there. Because, like you said before, their ass was kicked yesterday, but they lost the whole race with City, and they need to build the club up from scratch. Ten Hag did that here in Amsterdam together with Overmars. I think he could do that if he would get the time and had the right technical staff with him.
Yeah,
but I think he needs to go now.
Yeah. If I can say also my opinion quickly, I think also this might be his last season, and the reason for this is a little bit different. I agree with you both what you're saying, and also Ravish, that you're saying that if he wins the league and the cup, he has won most of the things already. Also, Tomasz touched upon that. But for me, the reason I think he will leave, also looking at only having 1 year left, I think we will sell. The team is going to be very different next year. I think he has to rebuild again. And this current team that we have was a rebuild of 2 years, 2 seasons. So the previous season led to this season. And I'm not sure if he wants to do that for the 3rd time, So that's my take. That's what I think. But I can be wrong. We can all be wrong, of course. So yeah, we'll see. And he has been amazing. I mean, honestly, he has been amazing for this club, and he brought us really to a much higher level. So apart from the fact that I was very critical in the beginning of the of the recording, I was just trying to voice my opinion about certain areas and things I think he can do better as a coach. But in terms of preparing the team, in terms of how he puts the team together, how he also constructs the team in a way that it brings the strength out of each player, because we play differently than the 18-19 season, but we're still very good, So, I mean, I admire him, honestly. And I want to say something else as well. I will give also Tomasz a moment to react on that. There has been a whole thing about Tadic on Sunday. There was an interview with the NOS, and he reacted basically he was questioned about Overmars, and if he wants to say something about, like to the fans, to the women, to everyone, about what happened. And he formulated in a certain way, which was not the best way. But then, and that's why I want to stick to Ten Hag first, and then we'll touch upon Tadic more. But then later, Ten Hag got confronted with what Tadic said, and the way that Ten Hag talked about it and how he dealt with it, it made me realize again and again that Ten Hag now has made such a development also in his presence towards the media compared to when he started at Ajax. We sometimes we look past this, But I think in that area, he's truly developed a lot. Because I remember the days people were making fun of him when he was talking to the camera or to people, everybody was making fun of him the first year. I mean, it's clear, especially in the Netherlands. So yeah, I wanted to say that. And Tomasz, I also want to give you the floor just to react on, because you were a bit critical about what Tadic said. And I will also react on that after you. And Ravish, of course, you can react too.
Okay, so first of all, I'm very happy for Ten Hag to react that way. I mean, I couldn't have imagined a manager doing it better. So yeah, high five and so on. And when it comes to Tadic, yeah, we talked about it, and I wrote a couple of tweets regarding that. Well, basically, I wasn't. Well, he said that he's supporting Overmars and he wishes him a big comeback. And basically, about the whole case, he doesn't know what happened there, and he doesn't even want to know what happened there. And yeah, put yourself in a position of the victims here. And if I would hear something like that, that wasn't very sensitive, was it?
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't think that Tadic meant anything wrong, and it was like, how do you say it, an honest mistake or whatever, or something he didn't think through too much. However, I don't want to he's not a politician, like Ajax on Twitter said. He's not a politician, so we cannot demand from him to be like the best outspoken person ever. And so on. So yeah, I agree with that. So I won't give him too much stick for that. However, I think it's not that it should be ignored. We should point this out. We should mention it. We should talk about it, and not like criticize him too much for it. Tadic is already having a very, very difficult time. He wore the Ukrainian armband during the AZ Alkmaar game. And Serbian people are well known for being very pro-Russian.
Some
and
of
I read
them. Depends.
Oh, the majority of them, yeah, a very loud part of them. Let's call it like that. And I read a lot of comments, both on Twitter and on Instagram, from Serbian people. That's Google Translate, so I'm not, taking this with a bit of a doubt. However, most of them were like, don't show up in Serbia, or you should be stripped of your captain's armband in the national team. And yeah, you didn't see he had the regular armband during the RKC game. So I'm sure it's a tough time for him. So the interview he gave, I wouldn't be too critical. Let's just point this out and move on. That's it. We move. That's the whole point here for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Ravish, before you talk, I want to say one thing. I mean, I agree with Tomasz. Personally, I agree that he didn't formulate it well. He didn't respond well to the question he got. But we all know Tadic, and I'm not talking for him. I'm not saying he's a friend of mine, so I know exactly what he meant. But you could, I mean, if you just look past what he was saying, he didn't mean it like that. He was sticking up basically and trying to support Overmars. And not saying that Overmars didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't want to judge him. He said he didn't know exactly what happened. And he wanted to stay a little bit neutral in that area. But of course, later he came back, and also after what Ten Hag said after the game, he said, like, of course I respect women, all these kind of things. So he rectified it. But one thing that I would say that I think is incredible, yesterday, the manhunt of the Dutch TV and all the Dutch media and people on Twitter from other fans, the other fans from other clubs on Tadic, for me, that's despicable, to be honest. I mean, everybody is trying to be like an angel and trying to say how people should react, how people should be, how do you call it? Talking or behaving. That's the word I was looking for. So how people should behave. But let's be honest as well. I mean, okay, he misspoke a little bit, but it's about his intentions. And of course, he's not diminishing what happened to the victims. I mean, if you're a little bit clever and you look past that, it's not what he's saying. That's my opinion. And of course, what Overmars did, there is no question about it. Let's be honest. There is no question about the fact that he was wrong. And he got what what's coming to him. Maybe there's more coming to him, but he got his consequences because of that. So again, I think the way he got treated yesterday, and everyone, even late at night, they were still talking about it. So I don't know if he deserved all that, to be honest. Ravish, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think you guys said everything already. Don't have something to add.
Okay, perfect.
I have though.
Oh, go ahead, Tomasz. Let's go.
Yeah, one more thing. It's very worth to be applauded that I'm sure Tadic knew it's going to stir controversy, that he's going to support Overmars that way or another, and yeah, that was courageous of him, I guess. Very, he has some rules, some ways of behaving and being identifying with Ajax and being an Ajax man. And so on. And I guess that was, that was proof of it. And that's something I can applaud him for. I'm not sure, well, I'm not friends with Overmars, so I obviously wouldn't do that myself. However, it gives you the feeling that if anyone at Ajax messes up, Tadic will stand up for you. He will support you. And yeah, he's our captain. That's one of the reasons why he is such a good captain.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Look, guys, I want to finish off this conversation and going back to where we started with one question, because we talked about injuries and all these kind of things. So we have a game coming up on Friday against Cambuur. We have no Lisandro Martinez, and we touched upon it already about Timber. I want to know quickly. You don't have to spill too much words, just maybe 2 sentences. Ravish, you can go first. Would you play Timber against Cambuur? Knowing that he's been struggling a little bit lately, physically.
No.
Knowing that we have Benfica next week. And also knowing that if you don't play him, we're missing our center backs. I'm just highlighting it again a little bit for the viewers as well.
I wouldn't play with Timber. I wouldn't take the risk because you're also playing at artificial grass. So no, I would it's a risk, but I would start with Schuurs again because I think that what happened yesterday to him won't happen again. And now with Lisandro is out, you will play, I hope, with Daly as a partner of Schuurs and Nico as a left back, left winger. So I wouldn't play.
You would be comfortable with that against Cambuur. Okay.
Yeah.
Tomasz.
Well, I'm absolutely terrified about the thought of Schuurs blind central defense of ours, because even a turtle would outrun them. So that's not a great thing. However, I can understand that, especially the artificial grass, the turf actually argument here makes a lot of sense. Well, I would leave it to the physios. If they say that Timber has a green light from them and it's all good and so on and so on and so on, I guess I would risk it. I wouldn't want Timber to have his first game back to be already the Champions League game. Let him get some game rhythm as well. That's my point of view. Well, but if it's any risk at all, like any reasonably foreseeable risk, then no, don't play it. If it's all good, play him.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, right? They have all the stats and all the everything measured, and they already gave him the rest against RKC yesterday for a reason. They know he's been stretched a little bit this season. The thing for me, which makes me a little bit, like doubtful whether we should play him or not. Look, at the one hand, the league, it might sound strange, but the league is important, of course, because we have to be champions to secure our spot next year as well as in the Champions League. So that's one. But the second thing is, if you play Timber and he's not 100%, there is a risk of injury. And if he gets injured, then we're further away from home for the next few weeks. So what should we do?
Roll the dice.
Don't play with him.
So basically, you know what? We let Ten Hag decide. He's the best coach. So we'll finish with this one. Guys, thank you so much.